So 40S has been around for a number of years now. We first listed in 2015. I've been involved since 2013. And we're developing a technology which has been developed out of Silicon Valley. It's called a ReRAM technology. Now, a lot of people may have heard that name before. ReRAM is a generic name for a group of technologies, but ours is completely different. We don't operate the cell like any other ReRAM company does. And that gives us the unique characteristics which we have in terms of high endurance, which means the cells can turn over and over without failure. We're incredibly fast in terms of the way we write to a cell, to a memory cell, and we can retain the information for a certain period of time. So in all our devices, we have things called DRAM and flash, and what the industry is looking for is a combination of those two technologies. So one, it's really, really fast in terms of its ability to write to the cell, but it can retain the information when the power's off. Even if it's only a little bit of time, and it saves the constant refreshing like DRAM has to do, and therefore it lowers the power consumption because you're not constantly having to refresh. Since 2017, we've been working with a group called IMAC, which is one of the largest research institutes in Europe. They have about 5,500 scientists that work there, and the who's who of technology development is at IMAC. So Samsung were there, Western Digital's there, and you have to be working on a really unique technology to actually be able to work with that group. So they recognised the way in which we operate our cell is really unique, and therefore we've been working with them for a while. So in terms of getting involved with AI is going to be a real problem going forward for us, and it's going to happen in our lifetime. At the moment, there's not enough energy in the world to support what's coming. So Mick, who I sat next to on the bus, gave me an article from the Secretary of Energy in the US, who went to that point saying energy is now everything, not just for AI, but for everything in the US, and there's a real focus on energy. So fortunately for us, the way in which we operate the cell will be using much lower energy, which is another great attribute of our technology. In terms of our commercial strategy, just before Christmas we entered into an arrangement with Infineon, which is one of the largest, it is the largest semiconductor business in Germany. Turns over about 24 billion a year and it's capped at 70 billion, so we'll go into a little bit more detail about that relationship. And we've been in discussions with two Taiwanese foundries, being TMC and UMC recently, who will get involved with going forward in the balance of this year into next. So the key catalysts to watch out for us now, we call them platform lots, which I'll go into discuss with, a bit later in another slide. So we are on our sixth platform lot, which will be taking our cell size down to 20 nanometers. That's really important to be able to show you can scale from 60 to 20, because you want to have a generational memory, so you can show that you can scale down, and so that's what we're doing in the next couple of months. And next year we'll be having a fully designed chip with Infineon. So Ting's one of our most experienced engineers. He's been with us for 6 or 7 years now. He's been in various places all through Silicon Valley and was a very senior person in Cyprus. For my sins, I used to be a lawyer and a pharmacist. I've been involved mainly in the biotech sector. But the reason I got involved with 40S is because it's not a subset of the population if you've got Alzheimer's or just diabetes or you're trying to treat those diseases. This is everybody. So this is everybody with a device. So it's the entire 75% of people in the world that you could be targeting with this technology. And Peter, are you online? Do you want to go through your background? Peter? No? Yep. Where you go, Peter? You have your background? Peter? You there?
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yep. We're just up to you going through your background. Well done. So Peter's been with us for probably about 12 months. So he's got a lot of experience in Silicon Valley. He's very well connected. And it's his job to find us a partner going forward once we start to generate more data on the information we're doing. So in terms of memory, there's definitely a hierarchy. In DRAM, you can see them flash sit in that particular area. So we're developing attributes which sit between those two types of technology in that hierarchy. And we've been able to show that, as I said before, we're as fast as DRAM. We've got persistent memory retention, and it doesn't have to be for very long. It could be for, if you're looking in terms of working with AI, it could be for 10 seconds, it could be a minute, it could be a week. And you know, in terms of the different attributes we have with our technology, it's all a bit of give and take. If you want a bit more speed, you take away from the ability of the cell to survive on and off millions of times. So it's a bit of juxtaposition, and each different potential client we have may want different attributes of our technology. In terms of what we've shown so far is we definitely have the ability to be involved in AI. So we're, as I said before, a resistive random access memory, and the reason we're different is because we don't create a filament. So we are creating the whole surface of the cell becomes conductive. So we don't create a filament through our technology like all the other ReRAMs do. We use the entire surface of the cell to cause the resistance, which then helps with the memories of the 0 and the 1. So we're basically moving oxygen molecules between two metallic layers to actually make that technology work, which is really very, very unique and the basis of many of our 34 patents. So, the advantages of what we do. You have to be fast. It's really, really important going through looking at AI coming forward. You've got to be able to write to a cell very, very quickly. And we've demonstrated that we are as good as, if not better than DRAM. So DRAM's about 30 nanoseconds. We've been able to show that we've been down to about 4.7 and also 9.5. So that's a great characteristic of our technology. Tunable retention, as I mentioned before, it doesn't necessarily need to be for years and years and years.
Peter, this is Peter. Can you hear me? I would be glad to speak out for this presentation.
Okay, Peter, we're on the slide about our advantages. I don't think we're really getting in, are we? Peter, can you hear me? I'll just keep going. So for example, Flash will remember things for 10 years. DRAM remembers stuff at 1/6 of a second. That's why it has to be constantly refreshed. So with our technology, we're not looking for years and years and years. We're just looking for it to be able to retain the information and keep up the speed, because that's one of the most important things. Warm data is just data in and out, in and out, in and out, like AI will be. So this is going to be a really important thing going forward. And again, that's a characteristic of what we do. And you know, we're looking at scalability to the process node, going down and down and down. That's what we're doing at the moment. And also analog programmability. So persistent memory for big data, this is all going to be a part of AI. Also warm data, because it's going to be influential in AI with lowering the cost of AI references, inferences and outs. And edge AI applications is a new terminology that's coming on for the industry as AI grows. But I think we can't dismiss the importance of what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. It is going to happen in our lifetime, and AI is going to change everything from police forces to fire, the way fire brigades operate, and it's going to change everything. So, Infineon. So this is a very, very important relationship for us. I spent 2 weeks with the head of memory from Infineon in California before we came to an agreement about what we're going to do. So it's a 15-month agreement where we're paying them $4.5 million. We've given them an upfront payment of 1.5 already, and then it's charged on a monthly rate. So it's sort of use and you pay. But for us, it's a really significant agreement in that we've got access to 8 of their engineers who are all very, very experienced in this area. And we meet weekly with these guys, along with engineers from IMAC. So it's a 3-way collaboration with, you know, these are very, very significant, important organisations with very, very smart engineers in them who really understand what we're trying to achieve. And if we were going to try and do this on our own, we'd be raising, you know, $20, $30 million, and it'd be very difficult to find these people if you could find them at all. So we're very fortunate in that we've got 16 engineers from 2 different groups who are working with us to develop this going forward. So our commercialisation pathway has been quite long. The first 4 or 5 years were difficult and we had lots of hiccups and failures, but it's not unusual with developing technology like we're developing. But the last couple of years have been very successful when we were able to demonstrate at 60 nanometres that we've got DRAM speed, that's the size of the memory cell, DRAM speed, we've got high endurance and tunable retention. So we did that towards the middle of 2023. We've now done an additional 2 platform lots to get ready to show that we can actually scale this technology down. So the 5th platform lot showed that we could repeat what we've done before in terms of being able to manufacture the cell, and we made some slight changes to the composition of that cell. And again, on the 6th platform lot, we've done that again to make sure we can scale this down to 20 nanometres and it has some functionality. And as I mentioned before, it's really important because you've got to be able to show a commercialisation partner you have generational technology, and this is one of the reasons Western Digital first got involved with us, is because they saw ReRAM as a generational technology, just like Flash has been around for generations. So you've got to be able to show you can improve and go down on your node size year after year after year. And moving into phase 3, which we've really started to do now with Infineon and iMac, will lead, we hope, to the development of a macro, and that will then put us in a position where we're likely to be able to attract a commercialisation partner. Indeed, in fact, if that commercialisation partner might not be Infineon itself. So key catalysts going forward, January we completed the 5th platform lot, and that was pre-preparing for going down to 20 nanometres. We've started with Infineon. We expect results on the 20 nanometre node this half of the year, and moving into next year we're looking at a memory chip which has been designed and verified and taped out with Infineon and then with iMac as well. So it's a big 12 to 15 months for the company. I think, like all stocks in this area, we've had our ups and downs. We have been capped at $300 million at one stage, and that's when we had very, very little data. I think the market was really hot in this particular sector where Weebit was, $1.5 billion and BrainChip was $1 billion or $2 billion, whatever it was, and we sort of got dragged up with them. I think at this market cap now we're probably pretty cheap. It's a pretty steady top 20. The stock's got good liquidity, and we're not in the business of raising money at the moment. We did an $8.6 million capital raise just earlier this year, and so we've got plenty of money to get us through well into next year and hopefully close towards having results from Infineon on our chip. So that's all from me. If you've got any questions, I'd happily take them.
I think the last time we had an update with regards to platform lot 6, the talk was that the hard work was done for that platform lot. Is that the case? And you're saying now it's first half of 2025. I mean, are we expecting that to drop sooner rather than later in that first half?
No, I think it will be. Is this gone off? I'll just talk. I think it'll be towards the end of the first half. I think, just purely because of the fact there's just so much work to be done, and it goes through what's called gates. So there's 4 gates you have to get through. So we're now we're past gate 3, so we're into gate 4, and that's really where it goes to etching, and the cell's really starting to come together. So that does take a bit of time. Unfortunately, with what we do, you can't, if you throw more money at it, it doesn't make it go faster. It's just a process you have to go through, and everyone in the business that we're in has to go through the same thing. It's just, you can't make it go any quicker. So the best outcome we can hope for in the short term is we get really good results around the size of the cell, and that'll be important for commercialisation discussions further down the track. But Infineon is really our focus at the moment, and getting them going, getting the designers going, working with iMac to work out what we're going to do through the balance of this year, and also talking to the Taiwanese foundries as well. And iMac's a really good vehicle for that because they work with these Taiwanese foundries anyway, so they're an in for us. So if we were to try to go to TSMC or UMC ourselves, we wouldn't get a foot in the door because we're too small. So you need a big partner who's worked with them before to take you there. So that's a really important part of Infineon's and IMAC's role with us to get us into Taiwanese foundries. Yep. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, David.
Okay, thanks.